Yahoo! Prof here, and we just opened up Cinema Staff's new album, a limited edition with a CD and a DVD, because we've got something that I'm opening up right here that's going to use that. The other thing is there should have been a pair of headphones here yesterday that are a bit special that I'm going to want to be testing with that. Now, for context, this thing's so dusty I have to blow the dust off of it. When was this delivered? I don't even know if it says on here. Let's just say a while ago. Can we say that? I'd have to look up that tracking number. Let's grab the iPhone here. Get some Firefox nightly action going on. US PS tracking. I can try the camera to see if it recognizes it. I bet you it won't, though. Yep. Can't scan that barcode without an app, probably. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, can't get a number pad style on iOS, of course. Can't get a number row on iOS. Don't sound, let me copy it. Tracking not available. Lovely. Yeah, it, let's check the email then. Oh, it shipped December of last year. Yeah. I would like to note, though, I ordered it November of last year, whereas the version 1 of this I ordered September of the previous year, and it didn't ship until friggin' May of last year. So the fact that it took them so long to produce this original version that, I don't know, several years later they're producing another one, does not sit right with me. So we've got the sharpened letter opener here. We're just going to move Cinema Staff's new album out of the way. And we're going to move that in there. Slicey slice. I think I actually found that I still have the packaging for the previous one somewhere around here. And I've considered, I think it goes for more than when I originally bought it. Now, who knows now after tariffs, because this was well before, Mr. Trumpy Trumpertson was back in office, and we're like, oh god, we're never going to be able to self-import shit from other countries again, you know, without having to pay, like, what, they just got another 100% tariff on China. Great. Guess where this comes from. Chi-Fi. It's called that for a reason. Chinese hi-fi. And you might be able to see the previous gen hanging out back there. At this rate, it's like, why even put the bag on the outside? You could do box tape man style and just wrap the bubble wrap with cellophane tape. It has a very distinct odor. Alright, so this is all packaging from Shenzhen Audio. That's where I got this from. Did I need to buy the second revision of this right away? No. Should I have just waited for the second revision because it took so... Okay, let's put it this way. It took so long for this first version to ship. The Moondrop Discdream. This one's a little dusty. I don't see a cloth around here right now. And I reviewed this. Compared to the FIO tape deck, this is not great. Let's put it that way. Right? I need to get something to wipe this down. Even my like, I don't even want to touch a CD with how dusty that is. How do I not have a microfiber around here that's not my nice glasses? Alright, so this is the original Moondrop Discdream. It's supposed to have this really good build quality, being all aluminum and stuff like that. Turns out it's pretty cheese. And I really haven't used it because a main feature that I wanted that it doesn't have is the ability to do Spidifout. And I knew that when I bought it. But I effectively wanted to use this as a... Fuck, what's the term? I have a whole video on it where I bought like a cheap one for 35 bucks off AliExpress. Can't remember the term. Maybe it'll hit me later on. But basically, so why does this need to analog out to my DAC? I have a really nice, multiple really nice DAC amps, right? Even if we go back to the Asus Essence ones with the Muses chips that I have, right? Look at that cleaned up because that was just dust. But the build of this thing is really like here you can see that behind all this metal, there's plastic, right? And comparably, the FIO tape deck that is very similar in quality. Apparently, I shouldn't be using the cover. Like this comes with a cover, but there's a magnet in the cover, and apparently the magnet can wreck the tapes. I may have actually already wrecked my Yours Long is Good tape because the beginning of this thing is so jank, so jacked up. I'm pretty sure this might have been near some magnets in my closet upstairs. Should play for context though, even decently powerful headphones only need that much. Like the amp they have in here, or at least the impedance of the amp in here, is way overkill. But the build quality of this is great. Build quality of the Moondrop Discdream, not so great. However, I was considering getting the FIO because shortly after the Discdream came out, and it sold like fucking hotcakes. I didn't get to the point where the original Discdream took so long to ship that they were selling it at a discounted rate before pre-orders, and at least my pre-order, had shipped. Yeah, I think there were some initial issues with it. And it's fine. Realistically, I think we found that they just took that cheap mechanism. I should probably just get transport, CD transport. See, this is what happens with the brain. The brain eventually brains. And then we don't have any issues. Oh, yeah, that can't go there. There for now. Oh, jeez. Forgot I have like all this shit just stacked up all the fuck over the place because it doesn't have a place to go. Oh my god, this is disgusting. Oh, I'm gonna have to clean off that fiber optical cable. Fuck. Alright, here. Let's see how little use that's gotten. Well, it definitely has its issues, but I want to say I got this easily under 50, if not less. Some of the things on some newer versions of this have been fixed. I use it as a CD transport. This, I bought the non-lithium ion variant, and all it has basically is optical out, USB-C in. It does have headphone out, but it's line level, or whatever I recall. And if you look closely at this, that is the same mechanism, rock hard though, as that. Now, they might have changed some things about it, but not much. So a big downside of this guy is the lid doesn't close all the way. And if you actually do, it actually rubs. See that? And it's all because it's not hinged on the back here. Realistically, what should happen back here? Oh, the plastic is starting to crack, so you don't have to worry about that. But this, actually it does, or is it just cracked? That's supposed to hinge up. This side, though, doesn't want to. See, that should go that far. And it's not done in a way that, like, normally when you hit something heavier, yep, remember how I said it was going to crack? Yeah, it cracked. So effectively, this cover is not for playback. It's for keeping the dust off when you're not playing things. It's like a record player. Think of it that way. Man, that definitely hardcore snapped. I only have one hinge on it now. To be truthful, using this, I may just get something 3D printed and just have like a cover for it. But basically, I wanted to use this as a transport. Really couldn't. It is a portable CD player, except if you look at how it's made to sit there. Okay, it's got feet on the bottom. There's no anti-skip, right? Oddly, this can run as a USB DAC amp. So you have line out, right? And then you have headphone jack out. And you have micro SD in. Like, I think it can work as like a CD player too. They repurpose some crap in here rather than building it. I don't know that this is any better, at least in that regard. But I'm a dumbass, and I bought the Moondrop Discdream 2 only months after it took way too long to deliver my original Discdream. Now, what's probably going to happen is I'm probably just going to sell or give away my Discdream 1 to a friend who wants a CD player. Got a couple of them. And often I throw the box for electronics. In this case, I did keep the original Discdream's box. I don't know that all the accessories are in it. got that cool paper top. Like, they made the unboxing experience. It's really nice. Like a fold-out manual. I can check the language. I think it doubles as a poster. Oh my god. How many languages do you need? People, probably Japanese, Chinese, and English would be my guess. Okay, then we have this sort of parchment paper with the silver embossed. They probably use it with like a hot stamp. Yep, and I guess all the accessories there, because the only thing under here is this cheese-tastic, crappy, definitely not audiophile grade, USB A to C cable. So, and I should note at least, well, actually, I don't know if it works properly with like native USB-C, like USB-C PD, where it's got the, I was gonna say, I think it's a resistor in there, but I've got it all here, so moving the original on won't be a problem. You're like, why are you talking about that? Why are you talking about moving the original on? Well, effectively, the two in either form fully fixes and replaces this. There's a 2, which I think looks way better, but then a 2 Ultra adds the features that I want. So let's get in here. There you go. Dual DAC, balanced output. The other thing is it does support optical out. That's what my brain was saying. This DAC also does do DSD. Holy shit. If only this was an SA CD player, they could have, what this cost could be justified. Basically, the Moondrop Discdream 2, which is just better than the Discdream 1. Maybe a little bit worse on build because I think it's plastic, but it looks awesome. The colors they chose are amazing. That is cheaper than the Discdream 1. And then the Discdream 2 Ultra is either the same or maybe a little bit more. Let's check my order confirmed. 200 for the original Discdream. Order confirmed 250 for the Discdream 2. So there you go. Let's see, Discdream 1, 180, now on sale for 160. Apos Audio has it now. I think Shenzhen Audio might be like one of their premier partners. Probably should bring up Shenzhen Audio, no? I should have just bought my DX9 through. I mean, Apos Audio was good, but Discdream. I guess it's a good thing I bought it when I did. I said I pre-ordered this. Remember how that was $249. Yeah, ouch. I'm like 99%. Yeah, you can see there. I did not pay that. Shenzhen Audio did have a stupid discount on the DX9 that Apos said they would match. They'll match discounts and stuff like that. I did get them to give me a little bit of a discount on it, but apparently I did screenshot it, but on the website they're like, oh, it was a pricing error. I should have just bought this during the topping sale on Shenzhen Audio. I do like Apos. They had great support and stuff. But it was a huge discount. It wasn't supposed to be discounted. Now maybe they would have flipped my sale back around, but with how expensive this is, I didn't have enough funds to just like buy another one before this had shipped. And the only reason why I even had a chance to get it cheaper was because I wanted the black one, and they were back ordered on Apos Audio, and they're like, well, we can give you a discount if you go with the silver one. and we can get that to you right away. And I'm like, nah, I want the black Darth Vader-y guy with the red LEDs, because when they were showing it off, it had this vicious red orange LED to it. But when it came out, they didn't focus on that, and then I was like, oh, does it still have it? And yeah, Apos was like, yep, and it looks badass, and I'm like, yes, it does. And they fully understood why I was like, nah, I want the black one. Often with topping, a lot of their products, there's a better color. Like if you look at my DX7A Pro Plus, it's vibing over there. The silver version is actually better because it's this like gunmetal silver with the black front. Every other version prior to that previously was pretty much the black one was better. But yeah, holy shit, $349. That's a lot of enchilada. No, especially knowing what I paid. Apos Audio, yeah, $349. Well, it's a good thing I bought it when I did, I guess. And that's retail price. That's not like, because like I said, the that's what the Discdream 2 launched at. So the FIO one, I was very interested in the FIO one after the tape deck and its build quality stuff. But apparently the FIO, and I have not looked since, because as you can tell, I haven't opened my new CD player in over a year, or I shouldn't say over a year, nearly a year. Like it's what do you want to say, like kind of stopped mattering. And then when the FIO, like, apparently the software on that end is all sorts of jacked up, so I wasn't too bummed, because shortly after I pre-ordered the Discdream 2, the FIO one was announced, and then I had unboxed the tape deck, and that tape deck is a far more finished product than Moondrop. All right. So Moondrop Discdream 2, effectively it's a Discdream 1 with better style. I think there's less metal in it, but if you go watch my original video, the metal's kind of cheese anyway. So I don't know that that's necessarily a downer. I actually really considered buying both of them and swapping. I do like the top of the Ultra better. You know, like these slats. That looks really cool. Looks like audio grill slats sort of thing, you know. Very 80s vibe. And so considered swapping the bottom, though, the bottom bits, with this one, because that looks way better with the little color pop with the circles. But there are some additional things on the Discdream 2 that the Ultra over the Discdream 2. So, but yeah, effectively, there ain't no reason for me to keep my Moondrop Discdream 1. And let's check what eBay says for pricing. If I recall, they were actually going more than new because they were all sold out. Discdream Ultra, Discdream 2, Discdream Ultra. Yeah, they don't even have search instead for, sure, is that not what I searched for? Discdream 2, Discdream 2. Oh, let's look at sold items. Okay, that's a Discdream 2 normal, 2 normal, Discdream 2 normal, 2 normal. What? That's it? Why does that go back? July 21st. Well, this is what happens when I don't open things for nearly a year. The market changes. When I'm not paying any attention. Because I really should have flipped my Discdream 1 immediately. Like, open this up and then flipped it immediately, because the demand on the original Discdream was quite high still, because of the fact that it just sold out. And it sold well enough that they immediately started making a Discdream 2. And I don't eat my Discdream. So more than likely at this point, it's probably going to a buddy who wants to listen to CDs that doesn't have the means to, and doesn't mind it either being it's got a battery, it's semi-portable, right? But realistically, like desktop casual listening. Alright, let's take a peek at what's in here. Discdream 2 Ultra, balanced output, dual DAC. 8 hours of CD use. Still doesn't have any skip protection. I'm pretty sure that basically every CD player that is not using new old stock, like LG actually, I think said they're no longer making like disk drives anymore. So all these are probably that same Chinese manufacturer. Moondrop claims for the original Discdream that they had somebody that worked with like the original Sony Discman and like they tweaked some stuff inside. I don't know how true that is, and maybe they did because they're like, hey, we did the best we could with what we could get a hold of, and then we tuned it and tweaked it as much as we could. Could very well be true, right? But yeah, you saw the cheap one that just broke on camera. It is kind of cool that they have the vents up top here, though, and the buttons on the front, as if it was the... I should say, like, there are much cheaper ones that also have the exact same square buttons and the exact same orientation, often without a screen, or for some reason the screen's on the inside. Finding that one that I use is the transport, the CD transport, where they get some fake leather on the inside here, foam, it's made to look like fake leather. Well, it's probably made to look like, yeah, I mean, maybe fake leather. But yeah, these often, like right here where this is wider, like this is supposed to look like a jewel case of CD. In my opinion, it should then open this way, right? Or since this is the same size as a jewel case, what a lot of people would want is the ability to take your booklet and put it in, right? Can't do that. So I don't know why they went with this build, but a lot of these actually have this screen instead of on the front here, right here. Finding one that I like that I use as my CD transport here, which is very broken now. That other side is gonna break any fucking second. If you see here, the screen is right there. It looks like it's got a film over now. It's just really shitty plastic. On a lot of these, they have the screen right there, and then all the buttons here. The fact that this has buttons outside, like you're paying more to get one that has the buttons on the outside, like not under the cover, basically. There's nothing to this. Like one improvement that they definitely did on the original Discdream was the like the CD player part is suspended. It's not, that's just hard mounted, like it just snaps in. And that's gonna help with the laser, like aligning it. Kind of like shocks on your car of sorts, smoothing the ride out. Or if you maybe have a slightly warped CD. Discdream 2, they got the same giant poster style manual. Yeah. Screen display, previous optical, 3.5 millimeter line out optical. PO out, I think that's headphones, and then 4.4 millimeter out. So I'm gonna have to get a 3.5. Actually, I'd say I'm gonna have to get it. I have 3.5 to optical, like Toslink optical to 3.5 millimeter adapters. Actually, used to carry them around all the time. Wasn't uncommon back in the day for gaming laptops to have SPDIF out via a third. It wouldn't necessarily be the headphone out. It'd be the line in jack was also the SPDIF out. I think could be the headphone jack, but you'd see red coming out of it as an option. Oh, look, I got QC'd. Woo, garbage. All right, we got the same sort of parchment pressed with silver Discdream tool, ultra fully balanced, multi-purpose, portable hi-fi CD player. I'm still gonna say the portability of this is limited. Same shitty USB cable. Yup. Hey, they spaced it out because before this USB, I think you might have seen this when I re-unboxed temporarily the other one. There basically was not enough foam there to clear the bottom, and the USB-C cable would touch the bottom of here. It didn't leave marks on mine, but I would not be surprised if it did on some. Because this is, like, though this is aluminum, like, it's paper thin and folded, and then having to be screwed to an internal chassis. 99% sure, based on that hinge back there, that internal chassis is plastic. You're just making it look fancy. Yeah, they had to add an additional layer of foam here too. Probably because the reason why this additional layer of foam was needed here was because this one was added that raised it up. So you have to then meet it again. So instead of cutting out whole new foam, probably because they still had all this foam from the Discdream. One, because it was literally this guy finally shipped in May of 24, and I had an order in for the 2 by November, so 6 months is all that model lasted. Oh, this is way heavier. Okay, that's got some heft to it. I don't know necessarily what they did. Oh, mine's got staining. This is what happens when you leave it in the packaging for too long. Yep, that's probably never coming off. Look at that. Mine's got staining. And that's in the anodizing. Great. That's a much better hinge. Is that a milled hinge? I got staining up here too. The fuck? I don't know. Looks like glue residue to me. Hopefully this can come apart relatively easily because it does have a rechargeable battery in it. That's the one thing that's nice about FIO stuff is they generally provide theirs. So this is a model MDQT004, 3,500 milliamp hour. And this is a 3,000. Nope, 3,500. Yeah, this just feels cheese. You can see there, it's just like very thin sheet metal. Bent around. Okay, I can tell you already, the build on this is way better. As for why mine has staining here, that I can actually feel it a little bit. So maybe if I can use something, I got some alcohol over here. I don't know if that'll do anything though. Something with a bit more gumption. Of course, last paper towel. If you guys want to do isopropyl, get yourself a little spray bottle. Dedicated to it, though. You don't want water and isopropyl being in the same. Trying to go with the grain. Yeah, you can see it came off. That's some dude's fingerprint. You can hear with me just handling it, but it is a heavier duty. Oh, holy shit. Look at that. That woke that up. Is there like shmoo over the whole top? Like the open button woke up too. What the hell? Look at that. It like wakes it up. I don't know, that little drop's going away. But hey, just a little bit of isopropyl. That's good. I wonder if I can get... Maybe a Q-tip. Yeah, it's coming. Need a Q-tip to get up in there, though. I want to avoid hitting that plastic as well. That hinge, though, here, if we zoom in, 2x, there's a 5x. I didn't mean to 5x, but hey, look. If you look at that hinge right there, that seems metal. I need a pokey stick that's hard, though. Here. Little screwdriver bit. Here's a Phillips 1. You like Phillips 1? Yeah. It's really skinny Phillips 1, though. That's metal. Remember I complained that the hinge was plastic before? This actually has some heft to it. This whole tray is milled aluminum this time. Here. This whole thing. Before it was plastic. Now this is a different piece of metal than this, unless they're using like some sort of veneer. Because they're purposely putting like a super fake brushed aluminum finish on these upper parts. These outer upper parts. Whereas this, I can tell by the swirls. You can see them right there that was definitely milled. Whereas the old one was just like a plastic tray. You know, like molded. You can see it's all rounded. See, they wanted a lot of this to look like, and this is metal, but it's like they used like a metal as a veneer, which is just use plastic then, in my opinion. All the price. I doubt this is milled out of like one. You can kind of see here that this is a seam that goes to a seam in the back. So this is probably still a folded up sheet that's then milled to look nicer, but it's a heck of a lot thicker. I'm looking for the isopropyl. A little bit. I would say that cleaned it up. Yeah, it's still floated. The mechanism. You can see me moving there. It's definitely floated still. I would say it's actually a little tighter than the old one was. It felt kind of weird that my original was so floppy, let's say. But yeah, there's way more heft to this. Now they could have pulled an old school Chinese tactic of chuck some lead weights in it. Would never know without taking it apart. And like I can tell here, the bottom set of screws for that lid cannot be taken off without taking the lid off, which is interesting. But that, you know, there's still a little, like, that looks like a water dot almost there, but the fingerprint of orange goo that was on there was removable. Think about that. For $250, you would think it wouldn't probably come that way, though, right? Fitment on this whole thing is way better than previous. You can see that's double stick taped down though, and that there's a little crease in the bottom of it. It's supposed to be like a premium audio product, but damn, you know, commands. I mean, I guess even the most entry level transports are cost more than this does. Like they're like $300 or $350 for entry level transport. Yeah, do you see how this open? Okay, so let me go out to 0.5. All right, so this guy on the new one, on the Discdream 2 Ultra, it opens far enough to stay there and stay open. This one, on the original Discdream, doesn't even open enough to go vertical. So I always had this issue of it wanting to, now it doesn't have the weight to, but I always was like, is it going to come down and smash my fingies? You know, if that makes sense. It looks like this is a little bit wider on that hinge too, by that little bit. Probably because of where these screws are on this guy. So you see screw here. That's where it's wider over there. You know, just like they adjusted this. Now I don't know for sure because I don't have the straight up Discdream 2, not the Ultra. Because there's even less metal on the Discdream 2 than the original Discdream. I would almost rather have them see it made out of plastic, to be truthful, and keep the cost down. Yeah, here the fitment of this lid is like kind of shit too. It's like too high in the back versus the front. There should be some rubber feet on it or something. This fits much more even. So this whole thing just seems to be like refined build. It does feel heavier. I have a kitten climbing. Kitten. Yeah, I know you want me to be done. There's the kitten, guys. She just climbed up the back of my chair, up the back of my shoulder to say hi. We really can't have your cat furs in the CD mechanism, Paisley Marie. Nope. Nope, we can't. You're probably like, but I already got them all over your old one. Yeah, you sure did, I'm sure. Yeah, the top is definitely one milled piece. Hey, Paisley. If I had ear cups for the CD5s, my MDR CD5s that I just opened up, they would be a vibe going with either of these. You know, but especially the Ultra. So on the side here, here's the big change. Line out, but also optical. So I can use this as my transport. There you go. Line out optical. So I will have I gotta figure out if I can get a right angle on there. I need to go back, right? Because the USB-C is back here. Rather than it sticking out the side. So you have that. You have finally got the optical out, so it can act as a transport. Then you have PA, I think that's phono or for headphones, and then you have balanced. Which is what I'll probably be using right now. So let's get out the Plastic Youth CD. Ooh, holographic. Go back in the previous video and check that out if you guys are interested. I forgot order of operations in this. I think you can probably leave it on. It's going to say no disc. Yep. No CD. Okay, so then we're going to open it up. Put one on. Close the lid. Hit play. And no, these are just CD players. And there's nothing stopping it like a old school Discman. Realistically, there's nothing different between that like the mechanism of that transport and Jesus loud. You can probably hear it. That's on 60 for volume. We probably gotta go 30. You can't hold it to go faster. Oh wow, there's like no viewing angle on the little. I gotta get that down. It's got power. Now these are only. What are they? I was gonna say 60 ohm, maybe 90. I think they might be 90 ohm or 9. A lot of these products have the issue of being too freaking loud or their output impedance being too freaking high. Yeah, at least in my room right now, which is not at all loud, volume 9 is fine. Now, obviously, these have, like, as an audiophile product, I need to push like a 600 ohm headphone. This is why I do like DAC amps that have, or amps that have a high and a, yeah, 15 is loud. Sounds good, though. Repeat. Shuffle. So pause should keep it spinning. Stop there should stop it. There you go. And it actually does say now it's lit up 10 tracks, 38 minutes. That's a short album. Not the 10 tracks, but the 38 minutes, because that's like, seems short to me at least. The menu button literally just does repeat this track, repeat the CD, shuffle. That's it. I should probably get the. Where would that even be? Trying to think of where my toss link to 3.5mm adapter would even be. I think it would have been in the closet upstairs, but who the fuck knows where that is now? So I don't think we're going to be able to test the optical out on this video. It literally may be faster and cheaper and easier for me to order some toss link to 3.5mm adapter. It basically snaps on the end and makes the optical into like a 3.5mm tip. I will say, I'm not a huge fan of, this is a GEEKRIA. This is like what all chi-fi stuff is. This the same sort of like fake silver, like, oh, it looks like quality plug, and there's just like a fucking grub screw in the side there, like a set screw. And that it all is this same silver, like, I mean, it all goes together because of that, but like there's no, that's why I actually like the look of the Discdream 1, or not the Discdream 1, sorry, It looks even worse than this, in my opinion. The Discdream 2 non-ultra, right? So this guy, they're trying to pull off the vibe of the 2 Ultra, but because it's like metal veneer, effectively. Here, you can even see where they've screwed it into some insert in there that's pulled up because of how tight they made that screw. Like, so the thing that they're pulling in there is probably like a brass insert that's in there, and then they've pulled into the metal. The metal is so thin that it's then made an outer mark around where it's doing that. This guy has far less screws. Hopefully that orange doesn't mean they're bigger screws too. Doesn't mean glue, right? I think that must be a reset or something back there. Should we get the R70Xs over here just to see how loud? I mean, those aren't hugely power hungry headphones, but they're at least considerably more. R70Xs. That's using my R70X Refine cable. It's the same connectors in there. I do need to order one specifically for the R70Xs, but they're not cheap. And now we got tariffs, so I'm pretty sure if I ordered from Audio Sound, that it would cost a pretty penny. I really feel like I have to increase these one more size. Lately, they've been pinching me. That might be a little bit better. Let's see here. This is on 15 still, I think. Play. Battery gauge in here is pretty shit though. It says it's got 3. Then as soon as that starts pulling amperage, like the motor in there, drops down to 2. Okay, let's go to the next track. 15's like low, like not low volume, not loud, right? Like comfortable listening volume if you wanted to hear your surroundings through open back. Around 30, we're starting to get loud, and I knew we would. A lot of these are fairly similar in how they're set up because they need to be able to do that 600 ohm output to like be audiophile. So their output impedance is quite high, which causes quite loud bass volumes. I wonder if you guys can hear 30. Actually, nothing like it was when it was at 60 on those other ones, but that's like loud, comfortable volume level. But like, I'd have to ask one of my buddies for their 600 ohms. 600 ohm like audiophile ones used to be like the thing. Like it's like, oh, you gotta get the harder to drive, the better sort of thing. But let's see what these are at. So up it goes fast. Yeah, like 60 turns these into freaking speakers. I mean, it sounds great. All right, so like if you hold from the get-go, it seems like you can adjust it by holding. Like you got to hold it from right away. Like you can't click and then hold. You got to hold like right away. Well, they do a good job of mastering their albums, and on a great pair of headphones that apparently I needed to adjust once they were broken in a little bit. Yeah, I feel like this is gonna droop some. Yep. Either way, we do the well, I think as I've broken these in, I have to do it to the refines. I had to do a hair to the original R70Xs. And what needs to happen is that headband up top needs to come, like, it's going to be a little bit wider. Because the bottom of the cup is not, despite them shaping this now where the bottom of the cup is the wider part, so it hooks under your ear and seals a little bit better. The thin part's on top, whereas it used to be a thick part in back, thin part in front. It still doesn't, the very bottom of my ears still don't get covered. And how these sit, it's not a sprung headband, so you really got to rest it up here, and these just sort of clamp a little bit. You can't rely on the clamping force. So there may be some adjustments required, because yeah, the making them a little bit bigger made it hang off my head a little bit lower, which I think over time is going to actually end up being more uncomfortable. Or I should say it went to the ear cup. Yeah, the headband is not doing as much. But yeah, 3 minutes, this thing works great. I wonder, can I see the red while it's playing in the optical out? You can, look. Yep. So I can kind of use this as a desk unit, which is, like they say, this is portable. But if there were any sort of jostle or bump, I'm sure it would skip. And you can see by those feet, it's really meant to kind of... It's portable in the sense that you could... like, you could take it places. You're not going to, like... It's not like a classic Sony Discman where, you know, like it's in your pocket or in your bag or... Like, if I were to take this places, I might look for a case of some kind, like a hard shell to put it in. Yeah, like on any normal Discman, that would have stopped the track so you can pop it out. Like, lid open is what I'm talking about. Whereas this runs more like a hi-fi piece of equipment, which is... you know, like a vinyl, where you pop the top, like you have to stop it, you have to know to stop it. Nothing prevents you from being dumb, but I guess the thought is, since you're spending so much on it, and CDs are, you know, so rare nowadays that, you know, you got to hit the stop button and wait for it to spin down before you come in here and pop it up like that. Like I said, mechanism-wise, that looks to be the exact... Like I said, there's some give on it. Build on this. Effectively, this Discdream 2 Ultra is what the Discdream 1 should have been. And I have a feeling they got some lackluster reviews because of that. And then they... Geez, these headphone jacks are freshies. And they revised it. Because it's just revisions on the exact same design. Yeah, I don't know if you see this, but this, like, You just touch it, the whole thing moves. Like it's almost too boingy. All right. Like a proper thing will, like generally speaking, the laser should be changing its distance away from the disc to accommodate what it needs to. Whereas this is nowhere near as yeah, patoing. Heaviness of this is way more. Like I said, for all I know, they might have just hucked a freaking lead weight in it. I wouldn't put it past, well, really any manufacturer, but especially Chinese manufacturers. Just because, like, when they would start making power supplies and stuff like that, people knew, like, oh, heavier power supply better, so they literally just put lead weights in the power supplies. It's pretty dumb because it thinks 10 tracks in 38 minutes is currently what's in there. The viewing angle of this little display from your desk down at it is fine. Let's see if I can get that on camera. So here to there, that's fine, right? Now watch this though. Oh, I do this one-handed. Oh. As I drop it. Good thing there's no, there you go, it just goes away. So they must have angled it to purposely, because this is how you're going to use it, is by, you know, doing that. It's kind of weird that the power switch is in the back when all the buttons are in the front. Like, this is definitely a modified something else. And I think it has something to do with the mechanism. Oh, I never looked. Does this thing still have that stupid micro SD slot that I don't get the point of? No. Because I had... Like, why do I want my CD player? I have to look. The Feel one has this weird thing where you can actually rip, and actually this is part of the reason why I was looking at buying it, is you're like, but you have a computer to rip stuff. Yes, but if I could just put a memory card in one of these and hit rip and it just shits it out, even if it's not the best quality rip, that'll at least get me something I can throw on my phone and I can always do a better job later, right? But apparently, like, Fio's recording it off of the phono output or something. Like it's like reading it from analog to digital, then playing it back analog and recording that analog signal. Yeah. So on the back here, that same reset hole and that same 5-volt are there, right? I probably have to figure out how to get this apart to get that piece of the hinge out. Let's see. That's what you get when you only spend, I don't know how much this was. Some of these were as low as $30 back, back before tariffs. But I went a little bit higher to get the optical out. Most of them didn't have that. And then I wanted the buttons. I wanted a screen, right? None of them had the screen on the outside, but then I wanted the buttons on the outside, so that if you did choose to close this, or even partially close it, you could still... Like, I didn't understand, like, why the fuck the buttons would be here. And it seems like because this is more meant to be used like a record player than anything. Yeah, just snapped right the fuck off like I said it was going to. Oh, it's like almost like I know it's gonna happen with these products or something. Wow. It's actually because it's only a half. It's like an oblong shape. There's a flat on it, and that's so that maybe so it can stick. Whereas you would have thought that would have just been a rod, but it's actually rotating so it stays like that. I don't know if I would have worried about that. I probably would have just let it go past vertical, which not this also. Like, see, this is the same issue that the original Discdream had. Can't go past vertical. But if it could, you could just have it flop back, right? Then you don't need that mechanism there. Maybe that's harder to do. But yeah, now this is busted. It still works, but paid a little bit less to get the one without the battery. But I think this one does Bluetooth. You look right there. Bluetooth. Yeah, it does CD playback or MP3. There you go, MP3 playback. I don't know why you'd want that, but you know, who knows? Probably the brains inside of here that convert the digital analog converter can also do that. So they just made it do that. But yeah, we need an adapter to make that, which is a Toslink connector, into a SPDIF connector, into a 3.5 millimeter. Oh, jeez. Oh, those weren't sewed on, and thus they are already coming off. Well, guys, it has been a bit of a ride. We will be using this in the next video. Maybe not the next video, but hit that subscribe button in a video very shortly, as we have a very special pair of headphones coming in, and maybe we'll even crack open some of these TK and Ling Toshite Shigure AKGs up there as well. We'll crack some of those open and give it a shot on the Moondrop Discdream 2 Ultra, because we're gonna want some Sony artists. That's my hint for what that video is going to be for / about. And hopefully you'll hit that subscribe button, and we'll see you in that video. Yeah, well, I can already tell you it's a pair of headphones, but it's one I've been lusting after for quite some time. But it's not only that pair of headphones, because I could have done that on US Amazon from the right seller. So, hopefully we'll see you in that future video. Hit that subscribe button. If you like it, any questions, comments, throw them down below. If you guys have either of the disc streams, or if you have the Feel one, because I've really considered that Feel one before, until I heard it had like playback issues. I think it had imbalance, and I might be wrong, like in channels or something. Maybe it was noise. Like there were a whole, like it came with firmware updates. I feel like a CD player shouldn't need firmware updates. That's all I'm gonna say. It's a CD player. So we'll see you in the next one. Peace.